Apex just removed Valkyrie from the game. Well, today they removed Valkyrie from 3 strikes because of one major bug that's going on right now. That's right, Apex actually pulled the plug on Valkyrie. You can no longer play her in 3 strikes, and this comes at a perfect time, Respawn. You couldn't write this kind of irony. So many people are playing Valkyrie, her pick rate is the highest it's been for a long time, and people trying to do her challenges, especially in 3 strikes, well, they can no longer do that anymore because Valkyrie is removed from 3 strikes. And the past month for Apex hasn't been great with all these bugs going on, but the reason they decided to fully remove Valk from 3 strikes is because of the new Rumble tournaments that just dropped. That's why it's important enough to actually remove her. Because the way Apex Rumble works is once you begin the Apex Rumble, you have to solo queue the 3 strikes playlist and you earn Rumble points based on your performance in game. So there's no special queue for Apex Rumble. You join the tournament and then it just tracks your normal 3 strikes games, which means you end up in queue with other players who don't have Rumble enabled and aren't playing in a competitive environment or trying to get kills or even trying at all. Instead, you're being put with teammates or enemies that could just be completing challenges or just ratting in the zone. And even though you have to solo queue 3 strikes for it to be eligible for Rumble, the enemies aren't all solo queues. The enemies could just be not part of Rumble and be full 3 stacks, which makes it a little bit unfair if you are really trying to go for these Rumble tournaments and get some top placements. But also what made Rumble a lot worse was of course the Valk bug. If you took a Valkyrie ult at any point during a 3 strikes game, you'd end up respawning in your 2nd or 3rd life at the origin of the map. Instead of in the air, in the ring, skydiving, you just spawn on the ground at the origin of the map. On Storm Point, it was this building right here, and so many players were spawning here because there were so many Valkyries, because everybody was trying to do their Valk challenges in 3 strikes, so ultimately, everyone just ended up spawning here, which really isn't what you want to be happening when you're trying to compete for the top spots in Apex Rumble. Especially since in Apex Rumble, most of your points will come from getting kills and damage, and if you can't find half of the lobby because they're stuck inside the origin of the map, then it's definitely going to affect your score. And this bug was happening so often that people then started camping the origin of the map just so they could pick off everybody that spawned there. Look at these people with caustic traps, Watson traps, and just sat there killing every single poor soul that got affected by this glitch. So it really did impact 3 strikes a lot. It's one of those bugs where you can't really escape from it because everybody's playing 3 strikes and everybody's playing Valkyrie. And this Valkyrie glitch was actually in 3 strikes months ago when 3 strikes was last in the game, meaning they still hadn't managed to fix it by the time we have it again now for the Urban Assault Collection event and the Apex Rumble tournaments. And that does make you think, is this a result of EA laying off so many workers? A lot of playtesters were let go, and when you let go people like that, it definitely seems to have a big impact on the game with all of the glitches going on recently, including this major glitch for a legend that they knew everyone was going to be playing. So Respawn came out with the decision to pull the plug on Valkyrie until they fix this bug. At least this will force them to fix it, but honestly we might see Valkyrie out of 3 strikes for a long time. So if you were planning on trying to play Valkyrie to complete your breakout challenges, you're gonna have to look somewhere else because that ain't happening. Now, like I said, Apex hasn't been having a good couple of months, and it got worse with Apex Rumble because the idea of these Apex Rumble tournaments are awesome, and I think it's nice to have a tournament cup style playlist in Apex for us to play and compete against other players and earn rewards based on our performance. I love that, and I'm really happy that they did add this to the game. However, I think it definitely needs quite a lot of changes, and there's actually one major bug with Apex Rumble right now. You see, once you've started playing Rumble, you have the option to spend 500 legend tokens to re-enter. And what this will do is fully reset your score, and it will give you 10 more games to try out and get a higher score than last time. And obviously this makes sense. You'll probably want to re-enter a few times because you'll warm up, you'll get better, and you'll feel more confident at playing 3 strikes. However, right now, do not click this button. If you do, it will still reset your score completely. However, you'll lose the option to play Rumble. You'll no longer be able to queue into 3 strikes with Rumble activated, and with that only being a few days left of Apex Rumble, if they don't get this fixed ASAP, you might lose out altogether on competing in the Apex Rumble tournament. So yeah, yeah, Apex is pretty broken. First we see the Valk bug causing her to be removed from the playlist, and now we see the Apex Rumble tournaments don't even work as intended. And Rumble has been absolute chaos despite all of these glitches, because we're already using it to identify a bunch of cheaters in the top 100 Apex Rumble players. There's players with so much damage but not as many kills, and a lot of these players are just teaming, so they're just finding someone on the enemy team to just keep dying and reviving their teammates to farm damage and put themselves at the top of the leaderboard. Some of these players have actually already been outed with video proof of them doing it, so that's another thing that the devs have to try and tackle. Apex Rumble is going to be full of so many cheaters, but there are a lot of legit players that are at the top of the leaderboard, so go and check out the leaderboards because it's pretty impressive some of the stats people are getting. And now let's actually take a closer look at the leaderboard, because it's kind of hilarious how obvious it is who's teaming and cheating. So the top player right now is a legit player. If you have a look, they have a lot of points from placement, they have so many points from kills, quite a lot of assists, and a good amount of points from damage, 2,445 damage points. Now if you go to points and scoring, you get 0.035 points per 1 damage that you do. So if we divide 2,445 by 0.035, we get a total of about 70,000 damage that they did in 10 games, which averages about 7,000 damage per game, which is definitely doable in 3 strikes. You can see Valhulst is in second with very similar numbers, and of course he is legit. You could see him playing yesterday. But then in third place, you can see this person has much less placement points, much less kills, no assists whatsoever, and 4,200 damage points to put them in third place. Now if you do the same math on this, then you get a total of 120,000 damage that this person right here did in 10 games of 3 strikes, which means an average of 12,000 damage per game, which I think we all know is just not something that anyone's doing legitimately, consistently throughout 10 games. And these are the people that you know are teaming and just farming damage points. You can see another player in 6th right now. They have very similar stats, so I'd assume they're also teaming. I mean, 4,300 damage points. Again, that's about 120,000 damage in total with not a single assist. So over the next few days, just take a look at the leaderboard and see if you can spot the cheaters. It's a fun little game we can all play. And a lot of players have said it would be cool to see these kind of leaderboards for normal Apex ranked. So what do you think? But I do kind of feel bad for the devs when it comes to stuff like this, because scummy players will always end up doing this kind of stuff. So there's no point hating on the devs for, you know, people doing this in Apex Rumble. But what we can speak to the devs about is improving Rumble as a whole, because it is in beta stage right now, and there are plenty of improvements that can be made, and I believe will be made as a result of the current Rumble that's going on. I think it needs to have its own separate playlist, so you're only playing with people who know that they're playing Rumble, so that it's an actual kind of competitive environment. There's no point having to solo queue with other players that just don't know Rumble exists. They're not trying, they're trying to do challenges. It just doesn't seem right. There's no point having a tournament where the competitive integrity is just completely out the window. Now, luckily, I had some games where I had amazing teammates. We won the game, we got a whole ton of kills, a whole lot of damage, and that's great. But when you don't get that, it is really frustrating. So I can definitely see them improving Apex Rumble in this way. But what do you think of Valk getting removed from 3 strikes as soon as her challenges come out for the breakout rewards? The comedic timing is perfect. Apex seems to be in the bin after every single update that they bring out, and Apex Rumble has just made that even clearer. But don't worry, next season, the new Legend Alter will save us all, right? Never mind, she's probably going to screw everything up even more.